Welcome back to Welsh Miniature Board Gamer, and today we're going to review some 3D printed miniatures again. So these are the Iron Fortress Orc Warriors by KZK Minis. So I had these printed up by Hammerline in the UK. So yeah, again, another lot of miniatures I've had printed up by them. They cost £15.99, so that's like less than £1.60 per miniature, which is brilliant. And they're in a 28mm scale. And these are very sort of Lord of the Rings-esque orcs, and the proportions are not like super heroic. The heads aren't huge and the hands aren't huge. They're really nice sculpts. So yeah, the print job, really nice print jobs, really crisp, really clean. There is one faulty one, which is this one. His armor on his chest is kind of chopped in half and hasn't formed correctly when it was printed, but generally speaking they're really good, and one miniature doesn't really bother me. I can like patch him up with some milliput, etc. So yeah, all in all, I think Hammerline did a decent job here. They did forget to send me the heads, which I had to contact them about, but when I did, they sent me loads of heads, so I think that might have been as a way of like apology for not sending out the heads in the first place. But yeah, really like this looks of these miniatures. They're really nicely sculpted by KZK Minis, really well designed. They aren't overly proportioned, and they look really nice. So we also have shields, enough shields for everyone. This shield kind of looks like a Lord of the Rings orc or urukai shield, which is kind of cool. But you get the kite shield, you get a round shield, you get enough shields, like I said, for everyone, and they're nicely printed. They're fairly tough. I have given them quite a whack because I am very accident prone when I'm handling my miniatures. I've dropped them, and they've handled the drop rather well. So strong, even though they're quite thin shields, they have survived my cack-handedness. So after the shields, we have the heads. So like I said, I'm not sure if they sent me extra heads because they didn't send them out originally, or whether you get 23 heads in the pack anyway. But yeah, it's plenty of heads. There's more heads than you'll know what to do with. Sorry, 25 heads I've got here. So yeah, they've all got this different styles. Like some of them have got helmets on, some of them haven't, some of them have got little top knots, some of them have got like these bony or protruding like scrap helmets almost, which are really kind of cool and gives you plenty of options for heads. Then we have the weapons. So my only criticism slightly about this kit is the weapons are very thin because they're more realistic, to be honest. The width of them is not too thick, and so they don't look like cartoony weapons, but they are kind of fragile because they are more realistic in their dimensions. So yeah, but you get like swords, you got some clubs, you got axes, morning stars, spears, and of course he provided the bases, the square bases for them, which is cool. So this is a look at what they might look like when they're painted up. And as you can see, they look pretty good painted up. I really enjoyed painting them. They take paint very well. Of course, give them a bath and all, cut off any supports which have been left behind, which of course you're always going to have to clean up something. But yeah, that's not a problem for me. Like I said before, if you're going to have a plastic one, you might have like a mold line. If you got a metal one, you may have like some flashing, so you're gonna have to clean up a miniature regardless of what it's made of. But all in all, the cleanup wasn't bad, and washing them before you paint them means that they take paint perfectly fine. Of course, always the thing with resin miniatures, they're always going to be slightly more delicate, so, try not to give them too bad a smack. I did break a couple of them, because, like I said, I'm very accident prone. But, you just glue them back together and they fit back together quite fine, That's one good thing is they break sort of on a straight line, etc. So you can always glue them and line them back up, usually pretty decent. Like I said, love these sort of Uruk-hai style shields that they've got. These are the orcs that I really want, actually. You know, I've been critical of certain orc miniatures in the past, but these are my aesthetic for orcs. I really love these orcs. They look the part for me. You know, your miles may vary, but for me, these are perfect. So like this guy looks a proper brute with his axe and his shield, and he's quite broad in the shoulders, but he's not like cartoonishly broad. You know, he does look in proportion in every sort of aspect, really. You know, so yeah, really think these were designed well, and I'm gonna have to buy some more of them because these are now my favourite orcs. So yeah, and you know how I am with orcs. I like my orcs. They're very forgiving. There we go. This guy. So as you can see, like the shields, there's lots of different styles. The heads have got lots of different styles. They got this like kind of Moria Goblin-ish helmet, and they've got like open face stuff. They got this like one that looks like it's using some sort of skulls, etc. So it's got jaw bones and all jutting out, and they all like really nice looking sculpt, plenty of detail, you know. So you know, well done to Hammerline for printing up. So I really like this guy. I think he came out really well. This is one of the ones he's got like a jawbone helmet, almost Kurgan-esque helmet, which is kind of cool. And yeah, he looks like a proper brute or a bruiser. You know, not much finesse to this guy. You know, with his skulls attached to his waist. You know, because everybody needs a trophy. And then this guy, you know, rank and file, open, no helmet. You know, kind of. You can imagine him standing outside a castle or a fortress, you know, chanting away, etc. I do like that most of them have got like their little collection of bones that they've got hanging from them. Yeah, they're really nice. They've got a lot of character. So if you want to see me painting up these two miniatures, it will be up next week or the week after. So yeah, I have heard you. Some people have asked me to do painting tutorials. I'm showing you how I painted these guys up, so you can, you know, take away from it what you will. I do not have a lot to teach you when it comes to painting, but you know, if you want to see me paint these guys, I did paint them up and I have shown you. So this is using an Oathmark orc, heavy orc, and as you can see, they're much more gangly looking, the Oathmark heavy orcs. The heads are bigger, you know, they just don't look to me right. So using the Frostgrave Demon standing next to him, yeah, they're a similar size. If you boost him up to the boosted thing, you can see he'd be slightly taller, maybe the demon, but you know, typical sort of, you know, they look like they'd be right for each other. So here's the Oathmark guide, so Frostgrave guide, sorry, and yeah, you know, maybe she's quite tall, you know, because she is a little bit taller than him. I kind of like that. That's kind of the sweet spot for me, is humans are slightly taller than my orcs, but, you know, not much. So here's Wargames Atlantic Knight. Here's a Hero Quest Goblin. So you can see like there's difference sort of in scales, etc. Here's a GW Orc. Like, you know, they're just completely different, really. So yeah, you know, GW Orcs are way bigger than maybe I would envision them usually. But all in all, I like Hammerline's printing job, and I do like these KZK minis. So, what do you think? Do you like them? If so, write down below, and I reply to every comment. Do the usual YouTube shenanigans. But until next time, it's going to be goodbye from me, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer.